I'm certain that you're doing well today. This is Adventist World Radio, the voice of hope. It's a great day that the Lord has made, and we are going to learn more. Stay tuned to this New Life program. I'm your host, Tileno Diambo. Thank you for staying tuned to Adventist World Radio, the voice of hope. In our program lineup today, we have interesting items that inform, educate, and also entertain you in an exceptional way. To kick off our show this day will be a topic on dizziness by Dan Obwato, then followed by a word from the Holy Book of Scriptures by Pastor Kigundu entitled Frozen Christians. For now, here is some sweet melodious tune just for you, my dear listener.
Safe to the rock that is higher than I, my soul in its conflicts and sorrows will fly, so sinful, so weary thine the blessed rock of ages, I'm hiding in thee, hiding in thee, hiding in thee, the blessed rock of ages, I'm hiding in in the calm of the noontide, in sorrow's lone heart, in times when temptation casts o'er me its balm, in the tempest of life on its wide heaving sea, the blessed rock of ages, I'm hiding
I hope that music was inspiring and entertaining. Dizziness is the feeling of being light-headed, woozy, or unbalanced. Here is Brother Dan Obuatho equipped with more on dizziness.
Welcome to today's program, dear listener. Today, we are going to talk about dizziness. I am your host, Joanne Omambia. Have you ever stood up from sitting in a chair and felt so lightheaded you thought you would lose consciousness? Or have you experienced a feeling that the room was spinning around? The dizzy feeling made you nauseated and you had trouble walking or even standing. Dizziness is a word we use to describe everything from feeling as though we are about to lose consciousness to feeling weak or unsteady on your feet. Often, these feelings create the false sense that either we or our surroundings are spinning. Dizziness is a common problem affecting 20 to 30% of us at some time during our lives, and it is a common complaint when people visit their doctor or the emergency room of a hospital. The good news is that, although it can keep us from doing the things we need, dizziness rarely signals a serious, life-threatening condition, and the symptoms can usually be managed with proper treatment. Today, I want to talk about dizziness and how we can live with such an uncomfortable sensation. A number of health problems can cause dizziness by confusing the signals our body sends to our brain to keep us oriented as to its position. Here are some specific examples. Our eyes contain nerves that act as sensors to help determine our body's position and how it is moving. And our ears contain nerves that act as sensors to detect gravity. These sensors send signals to our brain to determine our position as compared to the surface of the earth. They help us to know whether we are standing up or if we are lying flat. If any of the many sensory nerves with which we are created become damaged or stop functioning normally, we will experience dizziness. Let's consider the symptoms we label as dizziness one at a time, starting with the false sense that we or our surroundings are spinning. Inflammation in the inner part of our ear is the usual cause of an intense and constant false sense of spinning. The spinning starts suddenly, and it may be so severe that it forces us to stay in bed. Thankfully, this false sense usually doesn't last long. Our body can adapt to it within a few weeks. The inflammation in the inner part of our ear will usually clear on its own, although much sooner with proper treatment. Fluid in the inner part of the ear, or rarely a non-cancerous tumor of the nerve that connects the ear to the brain, can also cause a false sense of spinning. Continuing on, some people describe a loss of balance or the feeling of unsteadiness of their feet when they walk as dizziness. Older adults may find it hard to maintain their balance because of failing vision, nerves damaged by trauma, or because of arthritis. They may feel unsteady on their feet, especially in the dark. Yet another condition at times described as dizziness is the feeling of faintness, the sensation that you are about to lose consciousness. Some people describe the feeling as being spaced out. The most common cause for this sensation is a significant lowering of your blood pressure, which can occur after you sit or stand up too rapidly. People who take blood pressure medicines can experience this problem. If you take too much blood pressure medicine, your blood pressure will become too low when you suddenly stand up, and you may not feel totally conscious. Also, heart problems such as an abnormal heart rhythm, a damaged heart muscle, or low blood volume can result in too little blood reaching your brain, making you feel faint. Other reasons for your feeling less than fully conscious may include anemia, because your blood does not carry enough oxygen to your brain to allow it to function properly, or if you are diabetic and take too much insulin, making your blood sugar too low. Both anemia and low blood sugar can cause you to feel less than fully conscious. Whatever their cause, episodes of dizziness can increase your risk of falling and injuring yourself. Also, episodes of dizziness while driving a car or operating heavy machinery will certainly increase your risk of an accident. For those reasons, visit your doctor to identify and treat the cause of your symptoms. A low-salt diet and medicines to lessen the amount of fluid in your body are very often helpful. Your doctor may prescribe medicine that will limit the nausea your dizziness is causing. Whether or not specific cause of your dizziness is found, treatments are available that can make your symptoms more manageable. If you experience dizziness, some minor lifestyle and dietary changes may help limit your symptoms and keep you safer. When you have been sitting or lying down, stand up slowly. Avoid sudden moves and sit or lie down immediately whenever you begin to feel dizzy. Make your home safer by removing things that can cause you to stumble, things such as small rugs and exposed electrical cords. Use non-slip mats on your bath and shower floors. Also, place lights to brighten the stairs in your home and the places you walk when you get out of bed in the dark. Use a cane when you walk if it helps you to feel more stable. For the sake of your safety, avoid driving a car or operating heavy machinery if you experience frequent episodes of dizziness. And finally, avoid using caffeine, tobacco, or alcohol. Excessive use of these substances can worsen your symptoms. The caffeine in coffee and the nicotine in tobacco are stimulants which lower blood flow to your brain, causing or worsening the symptoms of dizziness, and alcohol has been shown to directly damage your nerves and your brain itself, also causing symptoms. Health Nuggets is written by Dr. Richard Dukley, a medical doctor working in the United States. The medical views expressed in this program are his and may differ for your particular health needs. If you need medical advice, please consult a medical professional in your area. Till next time, I've been your host, Joan Omambia.
Dear listener, that's all we had on dizziness and its causes. To learn more on this or be able to participate on this program, send your comments and thoughts to the producer, Adventist World Radio, P.O. Box 42276, code 00100, Nairobi, Kenya, or on our email address awrnairobi@eau.adventist.org.
O perfect love, all human thought transcending, lowly we kneel in prayer before thy throne, that theirs may be the love that knows no ending, whom thou forevermore dost join in one, whom thou forevermore dost join in one. Grant them the joy which brightens earthly sorrow, grant them the peace which calms all earthly strife, and to life's day the glorious unknown morrow that dawns upon eternal love and light, that
is yet another opportune time that we invite Pastor Kigundu to feed us with spiritual bread to nourish our souls and warm our hearts on the topic, Frozen Christians. Stay tuned.
Dear listener, I want to welcome you to our special Biblical Stewardship series. Title of our talk is Born Again Good People. The streets were dark as a robed figure made his way through the city of Jerusalem. This was not an ordinary citizen. He was the leading theologian of the day, and he was an influential politician. Just what was Nicodemus doing sneaking through the streets of Jerusalem at night? He was on his way to an interview with a popular and credentialed rabbi. But why should that have required secrecy? Other priests and religious scholars regularly visited Jesus to argue and debate with him. Why couldn't Nicodemus visit Jesus in daylight like all the other religious personalities? If Nicodemus had been planning to conduct an investigation of Jesus, he could have approached Jesus any number of times quite openly, and no one would have raised an eyebrow. But Nicodemus was going to Jesus because of questions he had about himself. The reason Nicodemus visited Jesus at night was that he had already moved beyond cold professional analysis. Nicodemus was pursuing a hunger that lived deep in his heart. And that's risky, especially when that hunger might take you away from the mainstream, away from the ordinary routine life, especially when you have the public visibility and social standing Nicodemus did. Nicodemus had a lot to lose, and that's precisely what connects so many of us to this story. If we were homeless, out of work, without family and friends, then there would be no great risk in a radical commitment to Jesus and in radical discipleship. To give God your life when your life already appears worthless, well, that's no big deal, is it? But when you have status, money, career, friends, maybe even connections, country club memberships and professional dignities to maintain, getting radical with God poses some real risk. So who are the Nicodemuses of today? A doctor at the peak of his career? A lawyer with a reputation for honesty, integrity, and effectiveness? A theologian or minister at a respectable church? People with social status? People respected for their spiritual life? People who appear to have it all together? We often think of the phrase born again applied to people with really messed up lives who experience a dramatic turnabout, well, a drug addict who finds deliverance or a thief who becomes honest. But this is not the kind of person Jesus was talking to when he first introduced the idea of being born again. Let's go to the beginning of the story. John 3 verse 1-2 says, Now there was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. This man came to him by night. Nicodemus belonged to the Pharisees. Pharisees were scripture-quoting religious people of the day. They believed in miracles, in the resurrection of the dead, in angels. They worked really hard at keeping themselves pure. They didn't want to be corrupted by the wickedness of the world or by the creeping compromises among the people of God. The picture then is that Nicodemus is a leading member of society. Still, he sneaks through the dark streets of Jerusalem for a private interview with Jesus of Nazareth. Nicodemus begins his interview with kind words. Rabbi, we know that you have come from God as a teacher, for no one can do these signs that you do unless God is with him. John 3 verse 2. Nicodemus was trying to be nice, to be generous. But Jesus avoids the social niceties and cuts right to the chase. He speaks directly to the hunger in Nicodemus' heart. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born again, he cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. Nicodemus didn't need to refine his theological theories. He didn't need to join a church. He didn't have a collection of bad habits to get rid of. He didn't have a great need to change his lifestyle. As a Pharisee, he had already taken care of all that. What Nicodemus needed was a new relationship with God. He needed to be born again. And right there is where this story connects with so many church-going people today. Decent, upstanding people who have been members, even leaders in a church, can be born again. Sometimes you are guilty of projecting the idea that the only way you can have a truly joyous, exciting experience with God is to first make a wreck of your life and then get converted. The story of Nicodemus proves otherwise. It took Nicodemus 3 years. The day Jesus died, Nicodemus publicly took his stand as a devotee of Jesus. He let himself go and accepted God's gift of new birth. Nicodemus appeared to have it all together. He was a good man. He was sincere, but he wanted something more. He craved a heartwarming connection with God, and that's what Jesus offered. Well, I don't want to deny that being born again offers hope for people with huge problems. But I want to emphasize that you don't have to be spectacularly bad to receive the new birth Jesus offers you. When Jesus said to Nicodemus, "You must be born again," he identified the problem and described a cure. Nicodemus asked, "How can a person be born again?" Jesus answered by referring to the wind. You can go down to the beach and watch the wind whip up the waves, but you can't see the wind. You can't trace its path from point A to point B. There is some mystery about the process. What we can do is prepare for this new birth experience. How do two people fall in love? It takes more than one encounter. They need to spend some time together, and it's like that with being born again too. A person must encounter God, must meet God, and it takes more than just one meeting. You have to spend some time with God by listening to the gospel message, by reading the Bible, especially the Gospels. You need to prepare yourself for the special visitation of the Holy Spirit. The most important human activity you can engage in is preparing to be born again. Getting acquainted with God, spending time with Him, is the indispensable human preparation for being born again. Now, the simplest statement of what it means to be born again is that you acquire new parents. We take our identities from our parents. Mom and dad determine who we are. We carry dad's name. From our parents, we receive genetic material and varying degrees of cultural and social shaping. When we are born again, we move from seeing our primary identity rooted in our family of origin and take our primary identity from our loving Heavenly Father. Our earthly parents are defective. Even if you come from a solid, intact home where mom and dad were pretty decent people, still your home wasn't perfect. Your parents weren't perfect. When we are born again, we move from organizing our lives around the strengths and weaknesses of our parents to organizing our lives around the perfection of God. Being born again means acquiring a new father. The idea of being born again is highlighted in the meaning of the word again, in the phrase born again. The Greek word translated again means again and from above. We must be born twice. The first birth merely gives us existence. I recognize that's something pretty special, but this second birth, this birth from above, makes us children of God. Have you been born again? Do you know the joy of coming home to the Father and being enveloped in His embrace? Will you join Nicodemus in his walk across the town to see Jesus? Maybe that means going to church. Maybe that means getting out a Bible and reading the stories of Jesus. Maybe it means praying right now and asking God to give you His special gift of new birth. Ask Him to accept you as His son or daughter, and He'll say, "Yes, how great is the love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God." And that is what we are. I don't know about you, but I thank God I can be born again.
This has brought us to the end of our program this day. Thank you for staying tuned and hope you have been blessed. Remember to send us your comments and thoughts to the producer, Adventist World Radio, PO Box 42276, code 00100, Nairobi, Kenya. or you can email us on awrnairobi@eau.adventist.org. On behalf of everyone who made this program a success, we thank you very much. I hope you have been blessed. I have been your presenter, Tileno Diambo.
Safe to the rock that is higher than I, my soul in its conflicts and sorrows will fly, so sinful, so weary thine I be the blessed rock of ages, I'm hiding in thee, hiding in thee, hiding in thee, the blessed rock of ages, I'm hiding in thee. In the calm of the noontide, in sorrow's lone heart,